If you guys want to keep up with the calm and crypto scammers in general, you should join the Telegram news channel @Feds. In there you can read about crazy stories from around the world way before I post about them. That's t.me/feds. Anyways, enjoy the video. It's crazy to think about the fact that almost all cyber criminals come from Minecraft. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you think about it. Minecraft's the biggest game of all time, but what's crazy is when you look into it further, you'll realize that all these guys come from the exact same servers. This is Minecraft HCF, and the rules are pretty simple. You have your team, and then you have your base. Attached to your team is a number called DTR, Death's Still Rateable. And after all your team members die and that number goes below 0, your base is now raidable, meaning it's no longer protected. Players can now open your doors, take your stuff, destroy blocks, whatever they want. Sounds super simple, but this is in my opinion both the hardest and the most toxic game mode in all of Minecraft. This is because in order to gain an advantage over others, players resort to doxing, DDoSing, and even swatting other players. But while this is super illegal, a majority of the community doesn't see it that way. This is where things start to get interesting, because once you realize this player base is willing to go this far just to win at HCF, it only makes sense that the community evolved into something way bigger. You see, on the side, there's also an entire community dedicated to just Minecraft accounts. Players sell rare capes and usernames for thousands of dollars, all to appear important in-game. This is where Noah comes in.
That was kind of like, I guess how I got into it. I remember I started because I wanted to buy a fucking username, some dumbass Minecraft account or some shit.
Yeah, for sure. Do you remember what account it was?
Bruh, my first account, I used to be so poor, right? My first account was cigarette, but it was spelled wrong.
Was it
Bruh,
caked? Nothing?
No, it was literally nothing. I just thought I was so young and stupid. It was cigarette, but I didn't know. I thought cigarette spelled 2 G's for some reason instead of 1. So I got it. I thought I was and then I got Frappuccino, and that one was spelled wrong too. And then after that, I was like, God damn. So I started getting in semis, some dog shit, other shit. I was worth $20. And then I finally I think I scammed someone through Sosa. I scammed the guy for literally $40. But then 3 weeks later, I was already kind of making money. So I just came back and I paid him. I was my bad.
Really? When'd you start?
14 probably.
Alright, so we're talking about a 14-year-old kid from Florida just sitting in his room all day playing Minecraft. He's got a couple garbage usernames and he's playing in a pretty big faction on these HCF servers. But there's one guy in his faction that has really good names, some of the best accounts on the market. So of course, Noah asks him, "How'd you get all your names?" And he tells him he can put him on.
It's called SIM swapping.
Now, Noah already knows what SIM swapping is. The idea is you move someone else's phone number to a SIM card you control, and then you can reset their passwords with 2-step verification. But of course, he has no idea how you do it, so he agrees to slave for this guy as a caller in order to learn how simming actually works. The goal is to convince employees at T-Mobile to give him access to this thing called tools. It's what the employees use when they want to look up customers or make changes to their accounts. Once you get access, you can move anyone's phone number to your own SIM card. For every login he gets, he earns around $150, and in his first week, he clears $3,000.
Whenever, back in the day, if they think you're a scammer or whatever, they'll just be like, okay, what's the ticket number? And then most people just and they just hang up. Me, even though it's not a fucking thing and I have no idea what the ticket number is, I'll just be like 940222183, and they'd be like, okay, and then they just keep going. You gotta waffle. Shit, even a lot of the time, the ways that we would get logins is even if the script kind of fails where they aren't having issues or whatever, we just be like, oh, okay, well, I mean, regardless, the ticket's still open. So if there's any way that you guys are able to help us close it out real quick, because right now it's marked as it's marked as urgent or some shit. You gotta think these are working people. Especially shit oh man, it's a long day. It's just shit like that makes it seem like you're doing the exact same job they are. They're easier to help you.
So now Noah's a seasoned caller, and he's learned how to convince employees to do whatever he wants. Once they hand over the logins, he passes them to his friend, who then logs into the T-Mobile customer service portal called QuickView. They do this over and over, as the sessions keep getting terminated after T-Mobile finds out they're using the accounts for SIM swaps. But then one day, the method gets patched. T-Mobile now requires a one-time PIN before any changes are made to the SIM, making their employee accounts pretty much useless.
So after the patch, everyone was like, fuck, well, T-Mobile's dead. And it's been like 2 weeks, nobody was doing any swaps, nobody was doing anything. And we were just like, I don't know, we just didn't really like know anything. And we were trying to like log and get on the PC, but it wouldn't work. I was like, fuck, like the rep convinced or whatever. But like, it's not gonna work. Like, we can't connect to the computer, we can't do the swap anymore because Quick's dead. Like, well, fuck, like everything's past you, we're retired. And I was like, I said it as a joke, but I was like, what if I convince the rep to just go on the fucking Reno tablet and do the swap yourself or some shit? And then everyone's like calling me a dumbass, and then I did it. And they're like, hold on, that actually works. And then everyone started doing it. Like, at the time, other people's ledger database has just like recently been like hacked. People were just doing that a lot.
How much does that make you?
I wasn't really making shit. I remember me and my friend were like racing for like 100K. We were making like 5K, 10K. And you do like maybe 5, make like $0, and you do like 1, make like 7K. It wasn't too much. I think like off that little run, I probably made like 100K.
If you've ever wanted to learn how to be a real hacker like some of the characters in my videos, you should check out TryHackMe, the sponsor of today's video. Whether you're a complete beginner or someone pursuing Security Plus, TryHackMe makes it easy to actually start learning cybersecurity in a hands-on way. Instead of just watching lectures or reading theory, you get to solve real hacking challenges and interact with virtual machines directly in your browser. So you're learning the same techniques used in real-life attacks and defenses. On top of that, TryHackMe has a ton of free content and challenges, allowing you to try it out for free before you decide if it's right for you. You can start with computer science basics and then move into things like web hacking, malware analysis, and network exploitation. From there, you can specialize depending on what interests you the most, whether that's becoming a pen tester, a SOC analyst, or a security engineer. You can get 25% off their premium subscription by using the link in the description or by using code IRONIC25. Thank you, TryHackMe, for sponsoring this video. Noah spends his money like a stupid teenager, because he is one. He's only 16 years old, yet he's got a brand new Hellcat, a $35,000 Rolex, and tens of thousands of dollars in rare usernames. But his most expensive hobby by far is his love for online gambling. His favorite way to gamble is by doing bonus buys, and he frequently spends $10,000 or more on a single buy. Sometimes he wins big, but most times he loses. Seeing $300,000 leave your account can be pretty demoralizing, but for Noah, it's a sign he needs to work even harder. He doesn't see his stolen crypto as real money, just chips for the casino. He can't really cash out all his coins anyway, so he just collects them for bragging rights. He's run out of lines in the ledger database now, so he sits down with his friends to talk about how they can get more data. Eventually, they set their sights on this company called Twilio. Twilio handles two-factor authentication for thousands of apps. When you receive a text from Gemini to log into your account, it's being processed by Twilio. This means if the group can infiltrate their customer support console, they can extract millions of dollars worth of crypto leads.
I tried hacking SendGrid first. Like, the SendGrid is the email company that sends out the data, and it's called SendGrid by Twilio. And all the SendGrid representatives were like fired because they don't fucking work there anymore. They work under Twilio. So then we were like, well, fuck, we might as well just get into Twilio and try doing it. But we didn't know that Twilio had access to Authy, and we ended up being able to like scrape all the different Authy users for Gemini and that sort of shit.
After a big heist like that, a lot of people would go celebrate. But Noah's a little different. Instead, he gets in his car and speeds down the freeway. Listens to his favorite music. Here, he can think. When he comes back home, he's got a new idea. He decides to dox every victim in his newly acquired database and starts cold calling them. He pretends he's a customer support worker from Google or Gemini and tells the victim on the phone that their account has been logged into from an unusual location. Then, he tricks them into giving him access to their account or even their wallets. This is called social engineering. One of his old Minecraft friends, Justin, just messaged him. He needs money, so he wants to become a holder. This is when you hold SIM cards for other swampers like Noah and read out codes for them after the SIM goes live. They work together on a few targets, and then Noah sends him on his way. But a few months later, Justin sends him a video.
Yo, it ain't no joke. I just actually did I swear to God, look. this shit for real. Like, they're for real gonna fuck me up. Like, they already did fuck me up, but I mean, like, they're gonna kill me if I don't pay up the 200K. So, this shit ain't a joke. For real, good ass.
Noah doesn't want to believe what he's watching. This guy had actually been kidnapped for stealing from a fellow SIM swapper. He feels bad for his friend, but not enough to send in 200K. Plus, if he did fork up the money, that would just be an advertisement to other groups that he can be extorted. So he ignores the message. He moves out of his dad's house right after he turns 18, and for 8 whole months, he's running up tens of millions of dollars with the various methods he's learned over the years. But then one day, the officers show him a search warrant, but they can't arrest him yet since they don't have enough evidence. But Noah's not stupid. That PC they're taking away is probably his 5th one. Every time he made a lot of money, he would get paranoid and factory reset his PC, then throw it in the trash. There's still a lot of chat logs on that machine that can incriminate him, but there's nothing he can do about that now. All in all, the Fed sees $4 million in crypto, $100,000 in cash, and another 100 worth of watches and jewelry. Before they leave, one of the officers takes his phone and holds it up to his face to try and unlock it with Face ID. He ducks out of the way and hides.
Whatever,
The officer replies.
we know you're part of Scattered Spider.
This was the name of Noah's group, which had gone from a small group of friends just trying to make money via SIM swapping to an organized group focused on social engineering large companies to extort them. Their targets include Crypto.com, CoinTracker, Riot Games, AT&T, Ticketmaster, Neiman Marcus, and many other companies. He doesn't feel safe living in his house now, so he starts hopping from one Airbnb to another and takes his online security much more seriously. He also gets himself a lawyer, thinking he's probably going to get charged soon. The man picks up the phone and hears his coworker speaking. His login has stopped working for some reason and he needs a reset. Seems like an uncommon issue, so he helps him log in again. Unfortunately for him, that wasn't his coworker on the phone. Now that Scattered Spider is inside MGM's Okta system, they can hijack other employee accounts and gain access to their Microsoft Azure environment. This is where MGM keeps their core cloud infrastructure and the administrative tools that connect their casinos, hotels, and corporate operations. Once they're in, they join forces with another group, Black Cat, which helped them deploy ransomware into the system. First, the malware spreads across MGM's network. Then it finds and encrypts the main servers that run important systems like payments, hotel bookings, and casino operations. Next, it locates customer data, extracts it, and disables all backups. They can use this to leverage a ransom later on. Finally, it disables the admin tools and kicks IT staff out of the system. After all is said and done, 10 MGM properties go offline, causing chaos inside hotels and casinos for the next 10 days. Seems like their biggest rival, Caesars Entertainment, was hit by the same group a few days prior. However, they did pay the group $15 million to back off the attack and delete that precious data. To this day, Noah claims he had nothing to do with either hack, and since this all happened after the house raid, there's no proof he was part of it either. Whether you believe him or not is up to you, but he does have an explanation as to why he was distancing himself from cybercrime during this time.
Leaked.cx
Is an online forum focused on sharing leaked songs by popular artists. Some leaks are public, others are private. Noah decides to make a name for himself on this forum by buying up private songs from his favorite artist, Playboi Carti. He makes an account under the alias King Bob and contacts the top leaker. Buys 10 songs from him for around $25,000. To him, this money means nothing. It's either going to get gambled or seized. While this might not make sense to you, it does in Noah's world, because once you make a certain amount of money, you get less hungry and kind of bored overall. Eventually, you run out of material things to buy, and instead focus on buying cultural influence. And since Noah has no real identity outside these online aliases, he does exactly that. He leaks a few songs and snippets to the Carti community, and gains 11,000 followers on Twitter in just 24 hours. An FBI agent is looking at the case files on his desk. he's noticed an IP link to an Airbnb has been connected to Noah's identity. The name on the account currently booking it rings no bells, but the profile picture on the account looks familiar. Matter of fact, he saw it a few months ago when he executed a search warrant at Noah's house. He decides to head to the Airbnb's location and talk to the owner, shows him a picture of Noah, and asks if he stayed at his property. The owner tells him he's actually still there. It's a beautiful day in sunny Florida, and the plan is to head to the beach today. Noah puts on his flip-flops and heads to the car, but as soon as he opens the front door,
I can't believe we made it this far. 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 Heaven is sky. And I can't believe I made it this far. Tell you how I feel.
he's charged with SIM swapping $890,000 from 59 victims, and he's ready to plead guilty. Seems like a pretty good move, because investigators think he's amassed at least $75 million throughout his career. They just can't prove it's stolen. 4 other Scattered Spider members are charged alongside Noah, and the prosecution is asking for 8 years. All Noah needs to do is plead guilty, and he'll probably get 5, most likely be released in 2 to 3 years on good behavior. Probably the best case scenario for someone in his shoes, but for some reason his court date keeps getting pushed back.
No, so you got to think, my case is way bigger than 800K, but they wanted to kind of get me out of the way because allegedly a lot of Scattered Spider stuff was still happening while I was out. So they charged me with the 800K that they know for a fact they can prove, which doesn't really have much time. And then I was asking for a plea deal the entire time, and they do continuances, which is like 3 months. So they push back each thing by 3 months every single time, and they kept doing it. And me and my lawyer were asking for a plea deal, like, hey, I did this, I'm trying to plead guilty, like, get me out of it and keep, like, what's going on. And they would keep stalling. We didn't know why until next year, 2025, and they indicted me as part of, like, the organized crime Scattered Spider shit. And then pretty much like a month after that, they gave me my plea deal.
He walks into the courtroom, ready to plead guilty and receive his sentence, but the judge gives him some bad news. Apparently, one of his co-conspirators had hacked the judge's email. On top of that, some of his victims have shown up to give their impact statements. A 68-year-old firefighter with severe paranoia and sleep trouble since the theft. An epileptic man who's now unable to pay for his special needs daughter's education. A 72-year-old man who had to delay his retirement and then injured both his knees. The judge is moved by these people's statements, and also pissed because he doesn't know exactly who hacked him. So he gives Noah 10 years. More than what the prosecution asked for. He's now sitting in a low-security federal prison for the next couple years. He's ordered to pay back at least $13 million on top of the $4.9 million seized from him. He told me his peak net worth was around 1,800 bitcoins, which if he hadn't gambled would be worth over $100 million today. But with all the victims that we don't know of, one can only imagine he stashed at least a small fortune for a rainy day.
Blow bands. Blow bands. Check my pants, they say true.